Today I'm watching The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 21. The previous episode was about these 3 astronauts who had landed on an asteroid that looked very similar to Earth, but we found out was this cemetery where people got to live out kind of their wildest, wishes for eternity, and there was this robot caretaker, which was really interesting. This episode we know from Rod Serling's on the previous episode that it's about this female character, this mirror image story idea, so curious to see where we're gonna go with that. I really like the previous episode. I always love when there's any kind of sci-fi involved, so yeah, not too sure what to predict for this episode, but really enjoying the series so far. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content.
Do you think it will be in?
She'll be in when she'll be in, that's all.
Yeah, this guy's not in a hurry. He doesn't care.
The last time I asked was right now. Look, all I want from you is a civil answer.
Oh, okay, very interesting.
Trouble is, every 10 minutes you're up here requiring one. Situations just don't change that rapidly.
She's like, this is the first time I'm asking you. What are you talking about? Okay.
You come back 15 minutes later and it's late now. And all the asking in the world ain't gonna push it none.
Well, that explains why he's probably very frustrated. Yeah, who else has asked?
Either you need your eyes...
Is that her luggage? Yeah, it's very similar. Is she a twin? We know we're doing like a mirror image style video, so...
Nothing. Nothing's the matter.
Doppelganger, maybe? Someone who looks just like her? This guy's convinced that she's come up, repeatedly to ask what time for the bus.
The head on Miss Barnes's shoulders will be put to a test. Circumstances will assault her sense of reality.
What is happening? This voiceover is very grim.
That is your bag, lady. You checked it.
Oh, no, that isn't my bag. It looks just like my bag, but my...
Oh my god, yep, she's gonna start losing her mind for sure. This poor guy's like, am I going crazy? Are you crazy? What's happening?
Sound of an engine, door opening. People will come in here. Then you'll know the bus is here.
Wow, thank you for explaining how buses work.
And anyway, when
Yeah, this girl is like, I was right over there and now it's not and now it's here. What's going on? But this guy obviously is not interested at all. Yeah, I thought maybe if she could check the other bag and see this other person who clearly looks like her, or he thought it was her at least. And this lady's giving her a strange look as well, so what's going on?
look all right.
You look fine. You look just fine. It's just that when you were in here before...
That would be such a strange feeling. She obviously doesn't remember, and someone's like, I just saw you.
The only thing wrong with you people is you need some sleep or something.
Oh my god, that's such a cool shot. I'm obsessed. See her in the mirror and see her on the bench.
Get you a cold cloth, honey. I don't think you're...
She's gonna need a strong drink, I'm afraid, because that's gonna be enough to scare anybody. Cheese and rice. Could you imagine?
But I'll be all right.
And the luggage is back by the bench, yeah, because she was just sitting there. What's going on? So curious. Dressed just like her, like same hair, same outfit, everything. But the hands on the clock haven't moved, like it's still 10 after, so...
What's the matter with me?
This music is so tense. And another time we have narration from our character, which is great.
Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. I really don't.
Is he a ghost? I don't know what's going on. That accident sounded pretty intense.
To Buffalo. Everybody keeps telling me that I've been here before.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the twist with this one is going to be.
Oh, thank God. For a minute, I thought everything was starting all over again.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be like on a loop. Like she goes to check her bag, she goes to the bathroom, she's on the bench, and then yeah, it starts again.
I looked in the mirror, and I could see the whole waiting room in the mirror. And
Yeah, how do you explain this to somebody? Like, who would believe you? She obviously doesn't have a twin she failed to mention, like...
Yes, that's what it must be. Delusions. Some sort of delusions. But I'm not sick. I don't have a temperature.
Yeah, is she hallucinating or something? What's going on?
Maybe what?
Maybe there's someone here who resembles you. That could be it.
Yeah, so I thought too. Maybe there's like a doppelganger or something.
Playing some kind of a joke or something.
Oh, is that possible?
We know Rod Serling said mirror image, so yeah, is there somebody who looks just like her?
And anyway, if there is such a person, where is she? Where is this person?
Oh, the bus is here.
Easy to be kind, too.
No, I mean more than just kind. We better get on the bus.
Yeah, and like it's interesting, the whole episode basically is taking place in this bus depot, so yeah, I'm very curious.
Miss Barnes! Millicent! What's the matter? Wait a minute.
She's already on the bus. Oh my god, with this like evil grin. I can't even, oh, that just gives me chills. Like I couldn't even imagine how creepy that would be to see you wearing the exact same thing in this exact same spot. Ah.
Some looking after. You know what I mean.
Yeah, and this like random stranger that she just met is now taking care of her, which is nice, but yeah, that was so weird. And like her bag and stuff is still on the bus, I'm guessing.
The bus.
It had to leave.
That's such a cool shot with the lighting like that too.
About something I read or heard about a long time ago.
I definitely feel like he's possibly a ghost. She might be a ghost as well. I don't know. Working theory. We'll find out.
Of existence.
Like different dimensions? Okay.
This counterpart, after the two worlds converge, comes into our world and...
Now I want to rewatch Fringe. It's definitely just reminding me of the plot of Fringe.
That's a little metaphysical for me.
I remember reading it somewhere.
Also a little bit like Jordan Peele's Us.
Each of us has a twin in this other world.
Yeah, that's definitely what it's reminding me of.
I can't explain it. But I know that's what's happened.
It's a very interesting concept. It would make, I don't want to say it makes sense because it's strange, but like it fits this story.
Call my friend.
Yeah, if this other version of her is trying to replace her, you know, taking her spot on the bus, like going to all these places she's supposed to be in. Yeah, she's just kind of frozen, and I don't know if the police are going to be able to help, if she's going to just go back into the washroom. I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious to see what's... Wasn't it just pouring rain? What's going on? Oh my god, they're not even gonna talk to her? Cheese and rice. Just taking her right down to the police station? This is grim. Oh my god. Or did she go into the other plane? Oh... It's giving me like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like, she's the one that doesn't belong here. Is that what's happening? Just how quickly that whole thing happened. No questions asked.
Be all alone. No noise whatsoever. This place like a tomb between now and morning.
So you mean that literally? Why do I feel like his luggage is suddenly gonna disappear when he wakes up? Yeah, oh, I love it. That was genius. Framing his body when he was drinking the water fountain to perfectly hide his suitcase. Yep, and where'd she go?
Hey!
Oh, look, there's another one of him. Oh my god, the cycle starts again. What is with this bus stop? That'd be so bizarre, chasing after another version of you. Dressed with this big smile on his face, just like the other Millicent on the bus did. So that was my first time watching The Twilight Zone, Season 1, Episode 21. I really liked this episode as well. We haven't had a ton of episodes with female characters, so it was great to have that. And this doppelganger alternate reality concept I thought was really cool, and another great example of you don't need to have, you know, big sets. And as much as I loved, you know, the production from the previous few episodes where we had a bunch of extras and kind of had that, you know, element to it, I like that they kept it simple for this one and really got to highlight our character. And the actress who played Millicent looked so familiar and I couldn't place it, so let me know in the comments if I know her from anything. It's just one of those faces that I know I've seen before, but I'm blanking on. And again, everybody's performances were so good, from the grumpy old man behind the counter to Paul, this random person that, you know, she meets. Everybody was so good, and a great example of, you know, one location, the entire story takes place in the bus depot. They have that one shot outside, and then Paul obviously, you know, running down the street, which I'm very curious to find out how they filmed given the time that this came out. So, but again, they didn't need, you know, these big elaborate pieces. And just, I was wondering where we were going to go with this, because we saw her see that shot on the bench in the mirror. I thought that was one of my favorite shots of the entire episode, and just how bizarre that would feel. And then even, you know, looking up at this person on the bus definitely, you know, reminded me of Jordan Peele's movie Us. You could check out that reaction video on my channel as well, and also the TV show Fringe, if you've seen that show. Very similar concepts, that there's another version of you in another reality, you know, living parallel lives basically, and somehow you've crossed over and you're not supposed to be there. I thought maybe we were going to find out the way that the police showed up, just took her in the back of the car, didn't ask her anything. We obviously don't know what Paul says on the phone, but the fact that they just did that so quickly and with such urgency, it made me think that, oh, she's the imposter. Like, they're trying to quickly get rid of her because she's not supposed to be here, whereas they kind of spun it that it was the other way around. And even when we have, you know, the episode basically start all over again with Paul and the suitcase, and, you know, that's missing, and to have that loop kind of begin again, I thought was very interesting. And again, that chase sequence when Paul, that's closest to the camera, is running, he's got this big smile on his face, like he's just, you know, no comments, no talking, just this big smile and just running. And that definitely reminded me of Us, which I thought was very creepy, and again reminded me of Us. And yeah, again, just the way their mannerisms, I think if we had heard the other versions talk, they would have sounded exactly the same. And I thought maybe, okay, she has a twin, but then that seems like something you would be aware of, or maybe it was a doppelganger. There's some crazy art exhibits out there that have found people all across the world who look exactly like each other, and I'm blanking on the artist's name, but he did this photography series, and it's eerie because they look so similar, have never met before, live, you know, hundreds of thousands of miles apart. And yeah, so I thought maybe that's what they were going for. She would interact with her doppelganger, but to see her on the bus and just the panic that you would feel, and, you know, it doesn't end well for Millicent. She's just taken off to the hospital. Like, how's she going to explain that? Are they ever going to let her out? You know, clearly Paul thought this was enough of a warning that she needed to seek some kind of, you know, medical attention. So I'm worried for that. But to start off our episode with this one main character of Millicent, and then she's taken away basically, and then Paul kind of picks up her story, and it made me wonder if the bus depot was some kind of portal. Maybe that's not the right word, but we see him put his suitcase down in the exact same spot, and we see the, guy behind the ticket booth, mention that the bench is a great place to sleep. He's got, 4 hours till the next bus. And of course, as soon as he sees his doppelganger, everything changes. And yeah, that chase sequence was so cool and just so terrifying as he's trying to catch up to him, but obviously doesn't. And again, even I really love the practical effects of, moving the suitcase, when he bends down to drink from the water fountain. It perfectly framed him to block out the suitcase, and when he stands up, it's gone. So I love all those little details. They're subtle, but they're so impactful. And yeah, he just heard Millicent talk about this experience, and he thought, okay, she clearly has lost her mind. And then the exact same thing started happening to him. And again, it's something we've seen, quite frequently on the show, where somebody experiences something and they try and explain it. Nobody believes them. And then, of course, they turn out to be accurate. And just the frustration you would feel and the confusion of these situations. I think that, as well as these stories being pretty timeless, like I think most people have had an experience where that person kind of looks like me, or you do like a double take, like you think you see something over your shoulder, you're like, what was that? Or even just the feeling of deja vu. And these timeless stories, as well as just, the human feeling of nobody is listening to me. Nobody's understanding what I'm going through. I'm trying my best to explain it, but nobody is on my side. And just kind of that lonely feeling to it as well, I think is what makes these stories, again, still resonate years and years later, and probably will continue to do so, because you can see how frustrated Millicent is. She's trying to explain. She's like, what do you mean I was just in the bathroom? What do you mean I asked you what the time is? This is the first time I've been up here. And it doesn't just happen once, it happens repeatedly, and the luggage moving. And I kind of wish we got to see the luggage when there was the 2 suitcases there, because I was like, what if that luggage is different? Maybe there's a different name tag on the luggage or something like that. Like, does this person, is it Mary instead of Millicent? Like, is there slight variations, or are they just literally the exact same and the same clothing? Like, not even, okay, this person looks like me, but they're wearing, jeans and a t-shirt, and she was in her, trench coat, but no, the exact same outfit, the exact same hat, everything. And even Paul, yeah, he's wearing the exact same outfit. So creepy, and just that hint of being scary but also realistic, and in the realm of possibility, which is, again, the name of the show is obviously the Twilight Zone. They allude to that a lot, in the voiceover as well that Rod Serling does, but that hint of like they're just on the edge of abnormal but still have one foot in like this could happen to you. At first I thought maybe Millicent died and this was some kind of purgatory holding space, she couldn't remember things. The only thing we really find out is, she quit her job, she wanted to go to Buffalo, and that's not really uncommon. We don't get a ton of backstory about the characters because it's such a short episode, and, her remembering this article about the parallel, planes, the parallel universes, that multiple people could exist at the same time but not know about each other's existence. Obviously, we needed that, to propel the story. I thought maybe she was a ghost, and, the hands on the clock weren't really moving behind her. So, but again, maybe that was just a continuity thing. I don't know. So I thought maybe time had stopped and she was just stuck here, on this loop. And when Paul comes in, he mentions this bus accident that also sounded like he shouldn't have survived. He's like, the bus skidded off the bridge, and, you hear this crazy rain this entire time until the police show up, and then it's suddenly not raining. Again, maybe that was continuity, I don't know. But you very prevalently hear the sound of the rain throughout the majority of the episode. And yeah, Paul mentioning this bus accident, I was like, you shouldn't have survived that. And also, you walked this entire way. It just seemed weird. And we've had that with other characters where they'll mention, the hitchhiker episode where she mentions this big accident, and then we see her, throughout the rest of the episode. So I thought maybe that's what it was, that he was a ghost, and that everybody in this bus depot was dead, waiting for the proverbial, bus to take them to the next place. I definitely wasn't expecting this, alternate reality, alternate dimension, doppelganger situation. And of course, we know from Rod Serling's previous episode, he mentions this mirror image theme. So obviously a doppelganger storyline would make sense for that. I think this is one of the first times that we've started an episode with one character but ended it with another, like Paul basically replaces Millicent. We don't follow Millicent's story when she's taken away, and it makes me wonder if Paul does get on the bus in the morning, will his doppelganger be on that bus? We obviously had that running, scene in the street, and who's going to replace Paul? Like, it seems like there always has to be somebody in this spot, and clearly the bus depot location or the spot where they put their suitcase, that kind of seems to be like step one, to start this cycle. And yeah, like this loop concept that it's just, happening over and over again was very interesting. So really enjoyed this episode. Curious to see where the next episode's gonna go. This front porch, summer, suburban background, but monsters on Maple Street. Very curious to see what that's gonna be about. It sounds like a Goosebumps episode, and Rod Serling, even taunts the audience. He'd be like, don't chicken out, like, be brave, and, tune in next week to watch. So very curious to see where that's gonna go. It does sound like it'll be a little bit scarier. But thank you so much for sharing and this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. She's like, this is the first time I'm asking you. What are you talking about? Okay. Wow, thank you for explaining how buses work. But the hands on the clock haven't moved. Like, it's still 10 after, so... She obviously doesn't have a twin she failed to mention. Like, that'd be so bizarre. Chasing after another version of you to perfectly hide his suitcase. Yep, and where'd she go?